This next law is called the art of the possible, and it's coming from a reflection about what happened last week. Last weekend, actually, I went home to visit my family, and for reasons I still can't fully explain, I carried a suitcase much bigger than I needed. And now, if you know me, you know this is so unusual because I normally travel very light. And home is home after all. What could I possibly need that home cannot provide for? But something in me thought, take the suitcase. And when my brother saw it, he laughed. And he asked me, what exactly are you planning to bring back? And I responded, a small pack of my Nia's favorite dish, beef roast to be specific. And then I thought to myself, but that would have fit in my carry on. And there was nothing else that I had planned, at least nothing that I knew about then. Yet somehow I just wanted to carry a little extra space. And by the time I was packing to return home, the suitcase was full and overflowing. Not because I had gone shopping to fill it up, but just that everyone in the family had something they wanted me to carry back. Even the little one at home made bracelets for all of us here, and she sat all night long making a beaded chain for me. How cute is that? And none of this was planned, huh? And as I stood there trying to squeeze everything in, I found myself smiling because somehow that suitcase had become the perfect metaphor for my life. Because for most of my life, I have been a planner. I like knowing where I'm going, I like having a roadmap and feeling prepared. For a long time, I believed that that was a responsible way to live, which is to have a plan, work the plan, control the outcome, and simple. The only problem was life didn't seem to get the memo. The more I look back now, the more amused I am by how much of my careful, thought out plans never quite worked out the way I imagined. And if I'm being completely honest, some of them failed so spectacularly. And being honest, in those moments, it felt disappointing, and I'm being true to myself because some of them were even devastating. And there were moments when life looked nothing like what I wanted for myself. And I remember asking questions that many of us ask. Why this? Why now? Why me? And how can this possibly be good? But somewhere along the way, something shifted for me. I started noticing that even the things I didn't choose, the things I resisted, the thoughts I thought had gone wrong, often brought something valuable with them. Not immediately, not obviously, but slowly, eventually. And that led me to a different way of seeing life. What if things don't have to go according to a plan to turn out well? What if there is goodness hiding in outcomes we didn't ask for? Looking back, I realized that the best parts of my life often arrived when I loosened my grip a little, when I stopped trying to control every outcome, and when I allowed myself to be surprised. And perhaps the greatest surprise of all was this: life was far more generous than I had imagined. Not always in the way I wanted, but often in ways I needed. And yet, if I know this now, why did it take me so long to trust it? Why do so many of us struggle to leave a little space for possibility? I think it's because we spend so much of our lives trying to protect ourselves from disappointment, of things not working out, or getting hurt, or failing, or not becoming who we thought we could become. So we plan, we prepare, and control, as though certainty had somehow a way to protect us from life. When I started asking myself, where is all of this pressure coming from? I realized something surprising. Much of it had nothing to do with me. It had come from watching how other people were living and what they were achieving and what success looked like for them and what milestones they were reaching. And without realizing it, I had quietly started using someone else's map to navigate my own journey. But what if that's not our path? What if there's something entirely different waiting for us? Something we cannot yet see because we're too busy looking to protect ourselves. Because possibility begins when comparison ends, right? The moment we stop measuring our lives against someone else's story is when we finally become available to our own. And maybe that's why life feels different to me now. Not because it's perfect or predictable or lighter. It just feels a little more easier. I still make plans. I'm not that enlightened to not make those plans, but I've become less attached to them. I think that's the truth. I've become less attached to my plans. I've learned that tomorrow doesn't need to be controlled by today, and it only needs me to just show up fully today. And maybe life isn't just asking us to know everything. It's just simply asking us to just live. Pay attention to what's around you. Be curious. Be a little child and create a little space for whatever could be. Because the empty space in that suitcase reminded me of something I had almost forgotten. And life has a beautiful way of filling those spaces we leave. Not always with what we expected, but with exactly what we need. And perhaps that's the question I want to leave you with today. Where in your life are you holding on so tightly that there is no room left for possibility? And what liberation and abundance might become possible if you stopped asking, what if it doesn't work out? And started asking, what if it did?